All right, here we go, by the way, gentlemen. Before we talk about the other two playoff series, I am watching the stream. Bill Daly is there, and I will read off the results as they come in. The 16th overall selection belongs to the Calgary Flames, as expected. They had the 16th odds.
Yeah.
No movements from Calgary whatsoever. No big surprise. Number 15 should be Nashville. Will it be Nashville? Imagine if it's not Nashville, it is Nashville. Okay, so no movement from 15 to 16. I'm shocked. Good for David Poyle smiling, though. What a guy. All right, here we go. Number 14 is Pittsburgh. Imagine if Pittsburgh moves up. Imagine.
No.
Imagine if Pittsburgh moves up. They do not. Okay, Pittsburgh stays at 14.
Next is Caps, right?
Buffalo is next. The 13th best odds. Caps are in 8th in terms of the draft order. Yeah, they suck this year.
Yeah.
Buffalo at 13. They hold. No movements through the first 4.
It's trash.
With the class?
It's trash.
Those ping pong balls are trash.
All right. Ottawa. Ottawa at 12. I believe this was the pick that had some potential movement with the Coyotes, depending on where this is.
Ooh.
Ottawa holds at 12. Okay. Still no movement. That's fine. Indeed. Yeah, they're showing Pierre Dorian and Bill Armstrong. So that was the Chychrun pick. And it's going to be Arizona's because it wasn't top 10, I do believe. Vancouver at 11. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Will the Canucks move up from 11th? No, they will not.
Let's go.
No movement at all so far. Was the top 5 for the Sens? Okay.
Jagger.
I stand corrected. We get to the top 10. St. Louis with the 10th best odds. Can you imagine if the Blues move up?
Fuck them.
At 10, St. Louis holds still, so no movement at all yet. As we go to the 9th, which is projected to be Detroit, will Detroit move up?
Maybe. They've been pushed back enough.
That they have. The 9th overall pick is still Detroit. No movement. You're right. They've gotten screwed by the lottery quite a few times. Steve Yzerman
I'm getting nervous now because we're getting into territory where as far back as the Sharks can drop, and I hate it.
Number 8, Washington. Will Washington hold at 8? Bill Daly shows Washington. The Caps hold at pick number 8. Still no movement.
Why is this scarier than everything else? Everything.
What the hell?
Philadelphia at 7. Will the Flyers hold at 7? Yes, the Flyers stay at 7.
Nothing's changed.
Holy shit. Yeah, this is shocking that there's no movement. Arizona at 6.
Oh my God.
Arizona at 6. Will it happen? Bill Daly. Arizona stays.
Oh my.
Top 5 guaranteed.
Top 5 for the Sharks. Let's go, baby.
Oh my God.
Here we go. Montreal at 5.
Oh, fuck this. Fuck this.
Montreal. You know they're going to move up.
Of course.
Montreal holds at 5. The Sharks are in the top 4. No movement at all.
Come on. Not the
Here
Sharks.
we go.
Not the Sharks.
San Jose at 4.
Not the Sharks. Not the Sharks.
Come on, San Jose at 4.
Up.
Are they going to reveal it yet, or are they going to take a break? Reveal
Fuck
it?
you.
They're revealing it. Here we go. Come on, San Jose. Move up. Move up, San Jose. They didn't move up. San Jose at 4.
Oh.
Fuck.
Top 3?
The top 3 holds.
Fuck off. It's going to be Chicago.
Oh my God, it's Chicago. It's fucking Chicago.
We've been calling Chicago getting that number 1 pick. They're holding. They're going to do the last 3 at a different time, but the San Jose Sharks.
I want a top 3.
The San Jose Sharks hold, as does everybody else. 4 through 16 all stay. Damn.
There's no way it's not Chicago. What the fuck?
It's either going to be Anaheim, Columbus, or Chicago that gets Connor Bedard. And someone will get the silver medal of Adam Fantilli. That's a tough break, man. We were really trying to will that into existence. The question now, I mean, Sin, let's talk about the Sharks and be a Shark-centric focus for a minute.
I only have a 1 out of 3 chance at this point of getting what I fucking want. It cannot be Anaheim or Chicago. Anaheim would suck way too much.
Yeah.
And Chicago is trash. I only want Columbus at this point, and even then, it just I don't get Bedard. I don't even get Fantilli. Probably don't get Leo Carlson.
Yeah,
it's bullshit.
So it is. So yeah, to that point,
that 3-game fucking winning streak.
Yeah.
It's all setting in, everybody. In terms of I think who we're all rooting for, we're rooting for Columbus now at this point. Then probably Anaheim, then Chicago. I mean, I prefer Chicago, especially to have that 3rd pick. But yeah, definitely rooting for the Blue Jackets. And again, the Ducks never should have been as bad this year as they were. That's the other big thing, is that they picked a hell of a year to just be complete trash compared to their expectations. For the Sharks, Elite Prospects in their consolidated rankings has Connor Bedard number 1, obviously, Fantilli 2, Michkov at 3. There is a good chance Michkov could be available to the Sharks at 4, just because a team might be scared off, and I think that would be a hell of a steal for the Sharks, depending on what happens with his availability in the future. Otherwise, it's Leo Carlson, Zach Benson, Will Smith. Like, it's going to be a forward added to this team, which I don't hate. I don't hate the Sharks getting a forward in this draft because of who they picked up at the deadline for Timo Meier. They picked up a couple of defenders to help fill out some gaps. So it's not a bad spot for the Sharks to be in, but it will not be Connor Bedard.
We may have some news. Apparently, there might have been a kerfuffle with production, and Kevin Weeks might have leaked the 3rd overall pick.
Which I saw mentioned in chat as Columbus. We'll see.
Oh my god, it's gonna be Chicago Bedard. Oh my god.
Weeks just said Columbus had dropped a 3rd, but they didn't show the card flip. I think they went to commercial break when they weren't supposed to, because the NHL is the NHL.
Oh my god.
Have the Columbus Blue Jackets actually fallen to 3rd?
Oh my god.
Which means the number 1 pick is Anaheim or Chicago.
Oh my god.
Both of those suck.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
The NHL
Anaheim
just NHL'd the lottery.
Oh my god.
Because of course they did. Now the board on the ESPN broadcast, they're still showing, here's the 3rd. Bill Daly flipping the card for the 3rd. And it is Columbus.
Oh my god.
They just showed it. Columbus gets the 3rd pick. It is Anaheim or Chicago who will land. It's going to be fucking Chicago. Chicago has moved up. But have they moved up 1 spot or 2? They had the 3rd best odds. It'll be Chicago or Anaheim. Please, God, let this be Anaheim. I'm sorry. People know it's like, what I think of Chicago's ownership, not their fans. It's a great fan base. Oh, my God. The Chicago Blackhawks have won the draft lottery.
I fucking knew it!
The Chicago Blackhawks have won the Connor Bedard sweepstakes in the most scripted thing I think I've ever seen in my life.
There is no fucking way.
Wow.
That is not scripted whatsoever.
Wow.
Holy shit. Wow.
What can you even say to that?
It's pretty. I mean,
It's so obvious. The Blackhawks need good press after the whole Kyle Beach scenario and everything that happened with him, and they're just keeping dogpiled on. Rocky Wirtz wants to make more excuses as to why they need to move on. I mean, that's probably just me speaking out of my ass, but it's legit. It was a perfect time to put a player in there like Connor Bedard to be a face of the franchise. You could not script this any better, worse, whatever you want to call it. Holy shit. Wow.
Good for Hawks fans, man. You guys just got an incredible talent.
Yeah, they didn't have a, good enough fucking talent before.
Well, let's hope this one has...
They just moved up from 12 to 3, too. It's such bullshit.
Let's hope that Connor Bedard's a bit of a better person than the two previous guys to lead that franchise there. Wow. It actually happened. We were joking about this.
I know.
Since December.
You had the fucking feeling. It was just going to happen. Like, it's just the literal best thing for that franchise. They're an original 6 franchise. Yeah, it was going to fucking happen.
Wow. That, for as much as people had thought in the past, like, oh, the Crosby Lottery was rigged for the Penguins, this has to be right there in that conversation. It has to be.
Yeah.
I mean, again, if people, I do not disagree with people who think, well, the Penguins were in big financial trouble. You don't get new ownership and get Crosby in there. Who knows what happens? Maybe Kansas City happens. The Chicago Blackhawks needed this positivity. They needed it. The Kyle Beach story, Rocky Wirtz's response a year later saying, we're moving on, we're not talking about it, and then scolding his adult son who tried to give an answer. I'm just saying, at the very least, right? And again, it is nothing against Hawks fans. People view it as the Bruins fan 2013 salty, and that's cool, whatever. I don't care about the opinion of the irrational people. But it is rather convenient for a team that needed the positive press to land a generational talent by moving up in an expansion draft, as opposed to having to struggle for a little bit.
Yeah, moved up from 3 to fucking 1. How convenient. After just moving up from 12 to 3 and... good stuff.
Well, it kind of takes the fun out of talking to Endo about the Leafs. Or, God, wow, I can't believe...
Yeah, John, it's the best for you guys. You've fucking never suffered. Literally. In the past in the past 2 fucking decades. This is unreal. Literal, almost 2 decades. What'd you get? Him in 05? When the fuck did you get Kane? 07? I don't even know. This is insane. Absolutely insane.
It's something, man. It's something.
07 Kane. So 15 years ish. Over 15 years. 16 years of the Hawks being fucking sick.
Yep. 15 years, 3 cups. A dominant run. Bad for 3 years. Like falling off for a couple years before that. There was the Nashville series like 6-7 years ago. But really only bad for a couple of years. And coincidentally, here they go. As opposed to the consistent years of Detroit having bad lottery luck, as opposed to the consistent years of Vancouver having bad lottery luck. But Chicago ends up with top 3 odds for the first time, if I'm not mistaken there. And bam, Connor Bedard. If it's not scripted, it's very fucking fortunate. At the very least. Like, that is why people are going to be shouting out scripted, is because the odds of all of this lining up so perfectly for this team when they needed it the most, very slim.
And here's the thing. NHL's like, we want to cut down on teams tanking. They were the one team who legitimately, obviously, was tanking all fucking year.
Yes. I mean, people would have argued Arizona heading into the season.
They even traded their young talent.
They traded.
They did trade Kirby Dach, yeah.
They traded Dach.
Look what Toronto got.
They traded fucking DeBrincat.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, isn't it? It's just, this is why we wanted to stream this live, because we all had the sense. I mean, again, this was the San Jose prayer circle for the sake of sin and hoping that the Sharks would have something happen. But we have been talking about this for more than half a year now. The idea that, oh boy, Chicago ends up with good odds. Arizona's been tanking for 20 plus years. That is not true. Arizona has made the Western Conference Finals more recently than quite a few teams in the West,
including the Toronto Maple Leafs.
They've made, I mean, God, yeah, if you want to include Eastern Conference teams, yeah. So
Toronto Maple Leafs have been tanking for 20 plus years. Am I wrong?
You gonna tell me I'm wrong?
You gonna look at me and tell me I'm wrong?
Damn. So, I mean, what more can you say? You'd be happy. Oh, John, no one's saying that Hawks fans shouldn't be happy. No one's saying that Hawks fans, at least I'm not. Again, that's why I always clarify and preface it by saying, Hawks fans, it's not a you problem here. The problem that a lot of people have is with the crotchety old fuck that owns your team that should not be allowed to own a hockey team anymore. It has nothing to do with the fan base. You will never hear from me, oh, fuck these Hawks fans, yeah, blah, blah. Yeah, there'll be some frustration from people who are just like, oh my God, really? They get this now too? Again, my only issue with it is this, again, the optics of it and why it would appear to be scripted is that this is an ownership group. Everything that happened with the Kyle Beach situation, a year later, refused to show any signs of progress and called out reporters for daring to ask what they've done since. And now it's awfully convenient to just continue to shove that under the rug. Here's Connor Bedard. It's just really convenient. Hawks fans should be pumped. Connor Bedard looks like a generational fucking talent. But you still have to understand. I'd like to think any rational Hawks fan could understand why some people beyond, oh, I'm a Blues fan and I hate the Hawks because they're a rival, or, oh, I'm a Bruins fan and I hate the Hawks because 2013. I'd like to think any rational Hawks fan can understand why some people are just like, oh, wow, isn't this convenient for ownership? Because that's what it is. It's not, isn't this convenient for the fan? No, it's rather convenient for ownership to get the, not even just the shiny new toy, the shiniest new toy at the perfect time. It's always scripted when it's the Hawks. That's not true, considering people call drafts scripted for the Penguins, for the Rangers. So that's not true.
Edmonton Oilers, all that fun stuff.
First time chat too.
Yeah. What do we still have? The hate us because they ain't us approach for Hawks fans?
No, we hate your franchise because your franchise is actual dog shit. You covered up sexual assault.
There you go.
And you're now they honestly shouldn't even have their fucking pick.
That's true.
This year.
Yeah.
What was
Remember when Arizona got their pick taken away? Because their owner did some fucked up shit. This was like, yeah, they wouldn't have been intentionally tanking all this year. They wouldn't have traded Dach, maybe not even traded DeBrincat if that was going to be on the docket.
They violated the NHL Combine, the literal like scouting thing, and they get like slapped with like no picks, and then a team covers up like sexual assault and harassment and all this stuff, and they just get handed a generational player.
But guys, the Hawks were fined $2 million for the Kyle Beach situation.
That does nothing.
$2 million, boys. They were fined. Again, I'd like to think reasonable and rational fans who happen to be Hawks fans as well can understand why a lot of people are just like, Jesus Christ, this is this is rather suspect, given that the Hawks organization is worth $1.5 billion, I believe, from Forbes' most recent estimate, the fourth most valuable franchise in the NHL. So, yeah. Chicago has the number one pick. To quickly mention those other two playoff series, Leafs are down 3-0 to Florida. They're fucked. And those
Here's why, sarcastic soap, they shouldn't have their pick. Especially if the NHL wants to cut down on teams intentionally tanking. Chicago was the only team all year to be intentionally tanking.
They put Peter Mrazek in that.
So the idea of it's the odds and this is how it shook out.
The odds are there should have been some fucking movement 4-16.
That's another reason why people are just like, Chicago was the only team to move as well. Now you could say, if they were really going to script it, wouldn't they make it less obvious? It is the NHL. Have you not seen the conversations about officiating in the past couple years, especially? At the end of the day, the result's the result, man. They have Connor Bedard. End of. Doesn't matter what people like us think, what anyone thinks. Like, the pick is going to Chicago. One way or another. But, yeah, like I said, Leafs are fucked, and good for Seattle being up 2-1. We can't possibly talk about playoffs at this point. Even though there's a playoff game that's about to start. But
I would have just been okay with anything besides this.
Yeah, I mean,
I could deal with him being in Anaheim, I guess. Fucking kick the shit out of us, make us get a couple number one picks.
If Anaheim had gotten it, people would have been like, number one odds. I mean, people still would have been like, what the hell, they're bad. It would have been exciting because Anaheim would have been a playoff team this upcoming season. He, Zegras, McTavish down the middle, GG's. That's a playoff team, in my opinion. Whereas Chicago, who have, of course, now the number one pick and Tampa's first round pick as well, and 4 second round picks, they're set up to have a pretty good draft. I can't imagine they'll be anywhere near a playoff spot by the beginning of the season or by the end of next season. But yeah, what a lot of people thought might happen happened. What more can you say? With that, I mean, gentlemen, I don't know if we have anything else to add at this point. I mean, damn.
I'm depressed.
What is there? I
want my team to have nice things, man.
I want coping ice cream.
Maybe Sin, you should root for an original 6 team.
Yeah.
That
I
also
should cheer for a big market team, then I could have stuff.
Yeah, that also covered up a sexual assault and has a scumbag owner. That would have been nice. You would have been good. Pray for Rocky Wirtz to own your team.
God damn, man.
Lord.
I'd rather not have a team than root for a
this
team
is
owned
such
by
an
Rocky
NHL
Wirtz.
fucking thing. Such an NHL fucking thing, dude. Just, this team is the literal worst. This organization's the literal worst. Now they get the literal best player since McDavid.
Oh my god. That's a podcast title. Literal worst.
Shout out to Stiffmeister. 20 years of facing Bedard for St. Louis after they just got rid of Kane and Taves. Hey. It's fun, though.
It makes sense that your organization and their success should be punished when you cover up sexual assault. It's worse than fucking with scouting results.
It's true. It's true.
If you want to talk about the integrity of the game also includes protecting your goddamn players, not allowing them to be bullied by fucking the same people in the room and your captain and your 2 best players who you just got rid of. One didn't do anything about it. And then when challenged by the press, all they did was talk about how good of a person Stan Bowman is. But that's all going to go away now. Just as the NHL wants, that's all going to be fucking buried. Because it's all going to be Connor Bedard. They are the new figurehead of the next possible generational talent.
As was as was said, there was a tweet I just saw on Twitter. Arizona holds pre-draft workouts, loses first rounder. New Jersey signs Ilya Kovalchuk to a contract that was legal at the time, loses first rounder. Chicago covers up sex abuse for a decade. Connor Bedard.
Connor Bedard. Let's go.
It's awfully convenient. One way or another, it is rather convenient, is it not, for it to work out this way. But the end of the day, no amount of dissecting it or calling it out for being somewhat suspect changes the result. Chicago has the number 1 pick. Chicago will have Connor Bedard. And the NHL gets what it wants. An original 6 team still very, very much being in the spotlight. Whew.
Oh, man.
I got nothing, man. I got nothing.
Favorite tweet right here. How did Bedard go from the great hope to the most hated player in the NHL in a 10-minute span?
I mean, he's not the most hated player. People are still going to find him to be awesome. It's just the idea of...
I just legit cannot cheer for him in that jersey, and it sucks.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what pisses me off the most. Like, I would have learned to cheer for that guy in any other jersey, even if it's from a rival. Technically, the Oilers could be a rival of the Sharks. They're in the Pacific. But it's Connor fucking McDavid, and you cannot stop watching that man. Chicago is a goddamn dumpster fire and a trash organization. And I just cannot enjoy him in that jersey, knowing that ownership is still there. And ownership that covered up all that shit is still there and getting away with it. Jonathan Taves is still there.
For now, yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree. I think that, and that's kind of the perfect way to, I guess, to sum up our thoughts, is that is kind of the basis of it. Like, you look at Connor McDavid in Edmonton, Daryl Cates is a questionable person. As far as we know, though, he's questionable in different ways than Rocky Wirtz happens to be. You can still root for the Oilers' success or McDavid's success, which translates to Oilers' success, because you want to see Connor McDavid do amazing things and be the best player in the world. Can you really root, unless you're a Hawks fan, for Connor Bedard's success, knowing who benefits from that success?
Nope.
I can't, personally. Second they get a new owner, I'd be okay with it. Why not? But given that it's still the same owner in charge there, it's rough. It's rough, but it is what it is. We will have another podcast later on this week. It'll be in our typical non-live format. But for those of you that tuned in live here on Twitch, we thank you. Make sure to go to the YouTube channel. Get caught up if you haven't. We're available on every audio platform of choice. And LOL NHL. LOL NHL.